I just want to say hi. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and this is me. And today, what I want to talk about, we all are completely in the know to an extent that the market, the world right now is just completely gone, you know, into fear mode, uncertainty, and for good reason. I mean, for really good reason. So this is a time when, things are just going parabolic, or they are just, one day the market dumps 500 points, the next day it's up 800 points. It's completely all over the place. And if you're going to be day trading, I personally don't believe that this is the right time. If anything, maybe swing trading and maybe for longer term, especially on the dips. But day trading could be a little bit crazy, right? And what I really want to talk about today is exactly that. Like, what are the differences with the different types of markets to trade, understanding all these different myths that go behind it. Sometimes it's just really important to get back to understanding what is happening as the basics versus, hopping in without having any idea, especially into this rapid fire market where fear is literally driving pretty much every decision. And you don't want to be in that kind of a market, right? That's not a healthy place to be, regardless of anything. So I want to talk a lot about that today. So before I do, let's just get into a little bit of an intro of who I am. And this is me. I am Marina, the Trader Chick. I am an expat living in Antigua, Guatemala. So that's why I am on Texas time right now. And in a week, I'll be 2 hours behind Eastern. So I will be, I guess, on Mountain time, right? I can't keep up. It gets really confusing for us. So I want to bring up, I am trilingual. And mainly the reason why I bring this up is because the market it has its own language. And I think the only reason I recognized that in the first place was because I did learn 3 languages. So I'm originally, oddly enough, I'm from Odessa. So Odessa is my birth home, I guess. The Ukraine, we all know what is going on right now. It's just completely insane. Odessa still gratefully is in a quote unquote safety area. So our family who we have there, whatnot, they're still safe. But who knows what's going on? Every day there's a new development, but regardless. So I'm actually a refugee from the Soviet Union. I was born in Odessa in the Ukraine when it was part of the Soviet Union. So we speak Russian. Today, obviously Ukrainian, but if you meet anybody over 35 years old, they will all speak Russian fluently simply because that was the language spoken back then. And I moved to the United States when I was relatively young. So if any of you have ever learned a second language when you were, kid, even before being a teen, you pretty much learn it instantly, right? You don't even put any process to it. I was 6 years old, and within, I think, 3 or 4 months, I was pretty much fluent in English. However, I've now been an expat living in Central America for almost 20 years, and I learned Spanish in my late 20s. So when you learn a new language in your later years, there is definitely a process. You have to show up first and foremost. You have to be willing to practice. You have to be willing to fail. You have to have somebody that to work with you. Obviously, otherwise you're just speaking to the wall and not really getting any response back. And it takes time, right? Everything needs to first be translated. Everything needs to be first, processed. It's a slow time. But then if you commit, if you are dedicated enough, you'll wake up one day and you'll just speak the language. You'll just get it. Okay, you might not be 100% fluent, but you'll certainly get it. You don't have to go through that translation process. And after being able to be exposed to learning my 3rd language in my later years, I pretty much now could say I speak 4 languages because the market has its own language. And once you start to understand it and look at it as a language, it becomes much easier because then you could actually communicate with the market rather than be freaked out by it or blame it or try to beat it or try to predict it. And that can literally make all of the difference in your trading or the financial markets overall. I can guarantee that right now. Guarantee it. Before I became a day trader, I was a fitness instructor. I was actually one of the very first fitness instructors to teach spinning and Pilates in Manhattan. So if any of you are doing any of those things, you could just kind of imagine how old I am. But I was one of the very first ones. And I am a travel writer. I still am a travel writer to this day. I have our own website, my own website that I've had forever. And travel is really, really important to my family and I. It's not even a luxury. It's definitely a necessity. And the main reason I bring this up is because a lot of people believe that you need to be a financial wizard or you need to have math or economics. Completely untrue. That's the beauty of day trading, that anyone can do it. So before we get into it, I do have a freebie for you. It is a present that goes along with this presentation. It is a worksheet that I created for you. You can go right here, makingofadaytrader.com. Makingofadaytrader.com. You can get it completely for free, and then you could go with it. And I know that David records all of these presentations, so you'll be able to go over it at your own pace as well. So go and get it right now at makingofadaytrader.com. So let's begin. Let's talk about what in the world is day trading. Why is it not investing? So this is a really big thing, right? Whenever I talk to people about day trading, they're like, oh, I want to learn how to invest. And I always tell people, well, you day trade to invest. You do not do both, right? Why? Because there's quite a massive difference. Unlike investing, with day trading, you really do not want to diversify, especially in the beginning when you're first learning how to do it. I get so many people that are like, oh yeah, I want to learn how to trade Forex, equities, futures. And I'm just like, you can't hop into 3 different vehicles on 3 different roads or terrains and drive at the same time, right? It's not the same. And the best analogy that I could actually give you, and hopefully if you could take anything away from today, would be this, right? Like a music student, you want to focus on one market, or we call them instruments. So for instance, here's a good example. Imagine your child comes over to you and says, hey, mama or papa, I want to learn how to play a musical instrument. And you're just like, oh, great. Which one? They're like, okay, I want to learn how to play the violin, the flute, the guitar, and the drums. And you're looking at them and you're like, but they're so different. Let's focus on one, master that one, and then let's move on to the next. That is literally what a day trader should do, right? You want to master that one, okay? Futures does not move the same as equities. And we're going to get into the different markets in a little bit, but that is such an important thing. And the majority of people that want to trade everything will end up always losing. But the ones that really focus are the ones that are killing it, okay? And the other thing is investors care about the companies they are investing in. Like, that's what I was saying. So right now, maybe not today. Today has been a completely crazy update. But like the past 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, were massive, massive dips. This is when investors buy. This is not when investors panic sell, right? Like this is when you buy those companies that you really believe in, okay? So what happens is, for instance, you care if Apple is going to be coming out with an iPhone 13 or 14 or a smart car or whatever. And you're okay when it goes up and down because you believe in it long term. However, day traders, we don't care if there's going to be earnings the next day, because we're looking at what's happening right this second. And everything is all about the technicals, right? So if the market is going up, we work with that. If the market is tanking, we work with that, because you can make money either way. And that's the cool thing about day trading, right? It is being in that moment. It's not buy and walk away. It's really important to understand that. Okay, now I want to get into a little bit of the myths of trading and even financial markets, because a lot of these myths really hold people back, right? So I want to get past these, because believe it or not, limiting beliefs can be the ones that can hold you back more so than not having a strategy. First and foremost, day trading is gambling. Well, it's kind of like you're saying, hey, you know what? I want to learn how to fly a plane. And literally the next day or the next hour, you go hop in a plane, magically turn it on and take off. Guess what? Do you think that's going to be risky? You are definitely going in for a suicide crash landing. Why? Because you have absolutely no idea how to manage it, right? Why is it okay for pilots to go through pilot school, through simulation training, and then work with a coach to actually learn how to fly, right? You would never tell your family, hey, hop in the plane. You've never, ever flown a plane before, you barely even know how to cockpit ports. Same thing with day trading, right? We need to have platforms that we work with. We need to understand certain terminology. We have to understand strategy and understanding what is going on in the market. But when you just hop in and throw your money in there, for sure, it's a gamble. It's a total gamble. Anything in the world is a gamble. So you can really prevent that by learning a strategy. The other big misconception is you need $25,000 to get started. Total massive not happening. Why? Because today you could trade starting with $300, $100, $500. It really will depend on the market. But even let's say you want to go into equities, you only need $25,000 if you want to have a margin account, which I will talk about in a little bit. You do not need a margin account. It is not mandatory. It is not obligatory at all. So you can literally get started with a much lower amount. You do not need this kind of money to get started. Like I mentioned before, you need to be a math whiz or a financial background. No way. I don't even know how to do math. I always use a calculator. There's absolutely no reason for you to know any mathematical formulas or algorithms. It's totally not necessary because it's all about technical analysis and patterns. And it's too stressful and chaotic. Yeah, sure. If you have this going on, this is a cliche of what a day trader should look like, right? Totally not true. This is so cliche, right? Like, first of all, this is completely unsustainable. Nobody could sustain this for a long period of time, right? I mean, looking at these screens, come on, you're going to completely lose focus. It's just not healthy. So you do not need all of these. You could focus and just have one. I personally have just one monitor. That's it. And it's my laptop because we travel. I'm able to take it everywhere with me. And it's peaceful and it's fun and it's definitely not stressful. The other thing is that you need to buy all these softwares, indicators, algorithms. No. You do not want to be caught into the shiny object syndrome, right? Which is addictive syndrome, and people know it. And I always say the only people truly making money from softwares, indicators, and algorithms are the ones that are selling it to you, never the person buying it. It's just a known fact because a lot of times they come back, they're like, oh, we have a new update. You have to pay extra, otherwise you lose everything, so on and so forth, right? Research and the news. Are you guys able to keep up with the news and the research going on today? Absolutely not, right? A lot of it is melodrama. Obviously, today we are not in a melodrama telenovela type of a news scenario. We are definitely in war and there is some serious things going on, but it's hard to keep up with what's going on, right? And the market is going to go up and down, up and down. So keeping up with it is really hard and you could stay away from most of it. All right. So another massive problem is being trigger happy. I am sure anybody who has sat down and wanted to day trade has gone through all of this. Oops, hang on a second here. Has gone through being trigger happy. That means going in and out of trades nonstop. So if you think of yourself like that, unfortunately, even the commissions are going to eat you alive, right? So I always like to compare. I don't really like this analogy, but unfortunately, it's the best analogy I could think of. And that traders are like big game hunters, right? Just imagine a big game hunter going out. They're never going to go and start shooting prairie dogs or big insects or even like little rodents or whatnot, right? They're going to wait patiently with discipline for the big game. Pro traders, they sit and they wait for those good, strong, valid trades. That is the difference with a beginner and a pro, okay? And you could be there instantly. All you have to do is understand that going in so many times will never work. All right, I actually always say the most radical way to trade is conservatively, because when you are a conservative trader, that is when it's sustainable, right? You could do this for a longer period of time. You're not being aggressive. Aggressiveness never works, right? It always will turn on you. And small profits daily will bring you those big profits yearly. Yeah, it's all fun and games when you want to talk about, I made $1,000 today, but nobody talks about the $3,000 they lost the following day. right? Because when you go for those big targets, which look really great, people forget that you also have to put up a pretty big risk. So you have to understand what your threshold is for that. The other massive thing is FOMAT. I coined this term. It really comes from FOMO. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. I call it fear of missing a trade. And a lot of times what happens is we become emotional traders, right? When we are seeing something, we might have gone or stepped away, or somebody mentioned that, oh, this looks like a good trade. We don't really know why. We start to chase this trade. We miss out that trade. Then we start to look for others. We go into revenge trade. Here's the thing, guys, you have to stay logical. You have to stay sensible and understand what is in front of you. When you're starting to fear anything, that's emotional, right? The first and foremost, you have to remember there is always another trade coming. Always. It does not matter if it's not in the next 5 minutes, it will be in the next hour, or it'll be the following day. But you have to understand. There is always another trade coming. If you see yourselves getting into that emotional state of mind, get out immediately, because all you're going to do is fail. You're going to end up losing that trade, and that's almost a guarantee. All right, I want to talk about what to trade. Remember when I mentioned choose your one instrument? So what are those instruments to choose from? All right, well, first and foremost, FOREX, right? We all heard of FOREX. That's foreign exchange. It's currencies. Basically what it is when you're taking two separate currencies, you're pairing them up together and you're seeing which one is going to go, whatnot, right? So again, if you're going to go into FOREX, be smart. Don't go into 3 or 4 different pairs. Stick to maybe 1 or 2. There's too much going on, right? It's so political that it's going to be fluctuating, and it has nothing to do with the strength of that currency versus the ego of what might be happening in that country right now. So you want to be more on top of it. But if you're following too many pairs, you're not going to be able to keep up with it, right? Equities. Whenever I hear people say, oh, I trade stocks, there are 5,000 stocks in the US market alone. So when you're telling me you trade stocks, I pretty much know that you're not being successful at it. Why? Because it's too general, right? You want to really, really get in and be specific. So how do we become more specific? First of all, there's sectors. You could certainly trade sectors. You could have technology or pharmaceuticals or entertainment or so on and so forth, right? But pharmaceuticals is not going to work the same as technology, right? They don't really go together. So why would you be in multiple sectors? So stick to that one. Okay, you could go for big caps, you could go for small caps, you could go for indexes, you could go for penny stocks. I know quite a lot of really successful traders that only trade individual stocks. Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, these are high volume, high volatility stocks. So you can really do well because, first of all, you're mastering them. You're understanding what is going on with that particular market. So stick to it. That's how you'll become successful. Okay, futures. Futures is great, right? The woman before me was saying, she was talking all about futures. Wheat, soy, great. Again, choose which one. Wheat does not work the same as futures index, right? I personally trade the ES mini, which is on the futures market. It's considered to be a futures market, but it is the S&P 500. It's not going to work the same as wheat. It's just not. So I like to focus on that one. I'm personally, like I said, conservative, but again, choose the one. Don't go crazy. You will not make more money by having more things to trade. On the contrary, it works the exact opposite. Options. Options is a great way to trade. Again, focus on the options. Don't be in options and equities and futures all at the same time. It's not going to be possible to keep up. Crypto. Crypto is a huge, amazing, erratic roller coaster market. And when people say I trade crypto and then they're like, oh, just Bitcoin, I know right away that they don't really know what crypto is. There are 6,000 alt projects and currencies to work with. So when you say crypto, again, focus on what you want to go with, right? Do you really want to work with those altcoins? Do you want to work with the more stable coins? There's so many different. Just choose your lane and master it. That is critical. Okay, let's talk about brokers and margin accounts. Because if you don't have what you're going to be trading worked out, you're not going to be able to get the best broker for you, right? Because if you want to trade futures, being on an equities platform with a broker that specializes in equities, it's not going to be the best fit for you, right? You're going to have to pay too much commissions. You're going to have the much worse feed. There are all these different multiplications if you don't know what you're trading. I have a friend that wants to get into crypto, but she's in the options market, and somehow her options broker got like 3 to 5 or 6 different crypto coins on there that she got into, right? First of all, the commissions that she has to pay is outrageous. Secondly, they don't offer any of the benefits that come with crypto, like staking or being able to sell it quickly, or there's all these other things, because she was an options trader. So again, what do you want to trade? What do you want to invest in? If you want to be investing, great, then go to a broker that focuses on that. But if you want to be doing crypto, go to a crypto exchange. So you really do need to understand how that works, right? And I really want to go back to that margins account. Remember when I mentioned you do not need $25,000 to start? Brokers give you this thing. They make it look like it's a benefit or a perk that you can have a margin account. Literally what a margin account is, especially in the equities market, is when the broker is telling you, well, if you have this much amount, we can lend you this much amount. So when you are losing or you're desperate to get in even more, you're going to start borrowing from that margin account because it looks like it's your money. It's not, and it's highly and quickly accessible. So when you end up taking that money and losing, or even if you don't lose, guess what? You have to pay it back, and with interest. You do not need a margins account. I call margin accounts loan sharking. Stay away from these accounts. Don't do it. You do not need it. It is completely not obligatory or mandatory. I'm going to repeat that again, all right? Because a lot of people believe they have to. You do not. All right, understanding commissions and live feed. Live feed is literally the gasoline of our charts. If you are going to be trading in the moment and you have a delayed feed, you might as well just kiss that money goodbye. You need to have live feed. And again, that works with a different platform you're going to be working with, right? Because it has to go along with it. For some markets, you have to pay for the live feed. For other markets, it's included in your platform. So you have to know which is which. It's super important. Now, platforms. Like I mentioned earlier, I do not recommend buying softwares, algorithms, indicators, but you do need a platform. Think of a platform as your car, right? You cannot be a driver without a car. Think of like all those fancy softwares, algorithms, all those buzzing things as, like those spiced up, duped up cars. They have like the fancy rims and the big mufflers. That's those extras. You don't need them. Good platforms, they will give you universal indicators. They will give you everything you need. So you need to get a good platform. And today there are so many good ones out there. So you can't say, I can't figure out which ones. I'm happy to be able to help you guys once you decide which one. And a lot of them, you could do free trials so you could understand if it works for you. Okay, let's talk about trading lingo, because it's amazing the amount of people that are quote unquote in the markets and don't even understand the basic lingo. There is a lingo for anything you will do in the world, right? There's a lingo for every single little pocket. So a good example that we all could relate to, my 18-year-old son right now is learning how to drive a car. When we first hopped in the car with him, we're like, all right, buckle up, put your press on the clutch and the brake, put your gear into first, release the brake. And he's like, clutch, brake, gear. I don't even understand what you're talking about. Why? Because that's the lingo of driving a car, right? Kind of like saying, get it out of park, put it into drive. If you've never done that, it's a new lingo. Of course, now to us, it's completely secondhand, second nature, but it's not in the beginning. And it's the same thing for the financial markets, right? So I want to just go through it a little bit, because understanding the basics of the financial markets will be able to help you, again, stay out of a lot of losses and make better decisions. Day trading, financial markets, investing, they're all about making decisions. It's all about the decision making, right? So the more information you have, the better decision you can make, starting with understanding the language of it. Intraday trading, what is that? It is literally just that. That means you are in and out of all of your positions before the day ends. That's it. There is no guessing around it. Oh, but I want to hold overnight. And then you're a swing trader. You are not a day trader anymore. And that makes a really big difference, especially in the futures market. Why? If you are day trading, you could have, let's say, $1,000 in your account. But if you're going to be overnighting it, now you need 10,000. It makes a big difference. And they will actually stop you out, regardless if you're losing or winning, because that is not the type of account you have. But if you don't understand the difference, that's how you're going to get screwed, right? Bull market going up today was bullish, right? Yesterday was a bearish, bear market going down. There are actually three markets. We call it consolidating, right? It's when the market just takes a break. It's this uncertain time. It's this indecision time. It's this doubt. Whenever you see a consolidation, you do not want to be in it. Why? Because it's an area where nobody's really sure if it's going to continue in the same direction or completely change direction. So you don't want to be putting your money in where you're not sure. Okay, now, really important, especially when you're day trading, you need to have a profit target as well as a risk management. What does this mean? First of all, you are in the know, you are in control, you are telling the market, I want to get out here, either with your profit or with your risk. You are not just guessing, right? You cannot put in a mental stop, because those mental stops are just same stupidity as when you hear people say, I'm putting on a mental seatbelt. Yeah, so when you're in an accident, are you really going to save your kid that you put your mental seatbelt on them for? No. It's the same thing with risk management, right? When the market is going completely out of control in the wrong direction, your ego is going to take over. Everything's going to go wrong. So you really need to have that risk in place. Profit target. Guess what, guys? I cannot even tell you the amount of times people are there like, oh my gosh, so it hit my target, but I saw it's going to continue in that direction. I removed it. And then it turned on me and stopped me out, because greed wins. Greed will always win. Okay? So you have to understand greed will win. Have your profit target in place. If you want to have a bigger target, then split target. All right? That means if you're going in with multiple positions, you get out in the first one, then you move your stop to 0, and you still can make a lot of money, or at this point, you'll break even. All right? So it's really important to understand this. Charts, I'm going to repeat this again. It's literally the holy grail. You cannot be on Robinhood or Webbull or whatever they're called if you want to be a professional, right? That's for hobbyists, so you could play around with here or there, but you need to have a much more professional setup, okay? Indicators, like I said, all good platforms, they have free universal indicators. I personally use 2 indicators. This is it. This is my chart right in front of you guys. I don't use anything else. Trending markets. I'm going to say this again. There are 3 trending markets. A lot of people think there's only 2, that there's the uptrend and the downward trend. No, there's the sideways trend. And the sideways trend is actually where the majority of the money gets lost, right? Or gets taken away, I should say, because people believe that they could beat the market or predict it, and you never can. You just have to understand that when you see a sideways market, you need to stay out. Okay, let's talk about the basic terms. I'm buying, I'm going long. What does that mean? It means you're entering at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point, and you're taking the profit in between. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Entering low, exiting high. Selling, going short. What does that mean? It's literally the opposite. When you're entering at a higher price point, exiting at a lower price point. Don't overthink this. Don't be like, oh, well, somebody's losing. Who cares? Do you know who they are? No, empathy doesn't get you anything, right? That makes you emotional. It does not make you a solid trader, because they don't care about you. Why do you care? And who knows if that is what's going on? Not at all. So selling is fine. All right. And it should be actually done by all traders, especially day traders. So like I said before, when you are day trading, You need to be in control of the market. You cannot be looking at, oh, wait, this looks like a really long candlestick. I'm going in. Why? Do you have a strategy there? Well, no, it looks like it's going the right way. That's called market entry. Immediately when you do a market entry, you are telling the market that you are a novice and you have absolutely no idea. This kind of looked good. But when you're putting in a limit order, when you are putting in a place where you want the market to fill you, first of all, the market is understanding. They know where they want to go. If it doesn't get filled there, you're okay. You are telling the market where you want to go. It's the same thing with your stop limit and also with the profit target, right? You are in control. You are telling the market, I'm only able to risk this much on this. I only want to profit this much from this. I don't care if it goes another 1,000,000 points or $1 million, whatever, right? That's what it's about. It's about taking that emotion out of the picture, right? Greed, ego, those are emotions, okay? But when you control the market, that's when you become the professional trader. Now, I've mentioned several times, technical analysis, the only actual way that day traders really work. It's funny, I watch my husband who's been doing really well. He never even looks at the news. Sometimes I'm just like, you really should check the news because earnings might come out. It's not a good idea, but he's 100% technical analysis. He doesn't even think about that, right? I think he's a little extreme in that, although it's been working for him. But it's important to know that you could totally just be technical analysis savvy and no fundamentals whatsoever. So what is technical analysis? It is literally what is happening in front of you with your charts. So we start with the basics, the areas, the resistance and support area, right? Again, none of this could be a mental resistance or a mental support. You need to draw these things in. Every single strong platform has drawing tools. Actually, I shouldn't even say strong. Any single charting platform has drawing tools, even if it's just a line there just to show you where the market has been hit over and over and over again. And that's exactly what the resistance is. Resistance is the ceiling of the market. It's where the market is revisiting over and over again, hitting the ceiling. And the support is literally the opposite. It is where the market is hitting over and over again, the support area at the bottom. Okay. Reversal patterns. We've all heard of reversal patterns, right? Double tops, triple tops, head and shoulders, double bottoms, triple bottoms. These are reversal patterns. So they are free. You can see it on any platform. It is literally just watching the price action. But when you are seeing this, it is not, okay, I'm seeing it, it's going to reverse, I get in. No, it's a very high potential for two things. One, that there's going to be a consolidation. Two, there could be a reversal pattern. We still need to wait for confirmation. But when we start to notice these reversal patterns, that's when we need to automatically sit out and not touch the market any longer. Now, another really important technical analysis is divergence. I live for divergence. I use the MACDs, as you can see here below. To me, they are an indicator, first of all, on any universal platform, completely free. You can find it anywhere. So the MACDs I find to be the least lagging indicator. So what is the divergence? As you can see here, my price action is going in one direction and my MACDs are going in the opposite direction. What does that tell me? It does not tell me, oh, get in because it's about to shift. It's telling me, get out, stay out, because right now there's weakness in the market. It might change direction. You do not want to be in a position where things might happen. You want to be in a strong position where there's strength and movement in the right direction. Okay, so let's put all this together. Like I said, all of this I have in my free cheat sheet, makingofadaytrader.com. Makingofadaytrader.com. Okay, you guys could get all of that. So having all this information, there is, now the different types of setups. We have all heard of the breakout, right? We all know breakout. Maybe we haven't seen it. We haven't really taken advantage of it simply because we probably haven't really spotted it correctly. So how do you spot a breakout? You have to go back to understanding the technical analysis, right? Right here, all I have in front of me is literally the resistance area, and I'm seeing that is breaking out. So what is a breakout trade? So for instance, you live south, you live right here, all the way at the bottom of this trend, excuse me, and your friend or your sibling calls you up and they're like, hey, I'm having a barbecue. Why don't you come over? And you're like, yeah, cool, I have nothing to do. Hop in your car You have been on this highway a million times. They live literally north of you. Hop in, you're full of confidence, full of energy, but all of a sudden there's this huge construction site and they're telling you, you got to get off the road. You got to get off the road. So what happens when you're in this construction site? At least here's what happens to me. When you have this detour, I get freaked out. What if they're going to stop with the detour signs? What if they're never going to fix the road? Google and Waze has not caught up with a detour. So what if I have no idea where to go? I'm going to get totally lost. I'm freaking out, right? What does that mean when I'm in this area? I'm in total uncertainty. I have no idea what's really going to happen. Am I going to be putting money on the line there? Because I'm not sure if I'm going to get back on the highway continuing, or I have to turn back and go home, right? So this is not a place you want to be in. That's that consolidation area. But all of a sudden, there's another construction worker, and they're like, okay, guys, road is clear, go for it. And boom, you're back on the highway. What do you get? That's that breakout. You're continuing with full-on energy, ready to go. That's the breakout trade. Okay, that's what this looks like. So as I mentioned earlier, I only have two indicators, my MACDs, and I use EMA lines. EMA lines are exponential moving averages. So what happens here? I personally, like I told you before, I always have a limit order. I always tell the market where I want to enter. I use my EMA lines like an archer uses their line in the, in the sands, right? You'll never see an archer, you know, those people with the bows and arrows wandering around aimlessly at a competition. They have a very distinct place to stand and they have a distinct target, right? This is my place to stand. This is where I'm telling the market I want to enter. I'm seeing that my MACDs are flying high. This dash line is the zero line. Boom. This is what it looks like. Okay, so remember, makingofadaytrader.com. So I want to take you guys a little bit into my live charts. Let me just share my charts with you. Okay, so this is from today, right? Today has been an insane day, right? Can you guys see my charts? Let me know if you are seeing my charts. Yes, no, hello. Let me know, guys. Are you seeing my charts? All right, cool. Okay, so there has been a lot of movement going up. However, the majority of the day has been consolidating, right? It's been really, really weird. A lot of volatility, even I would say a little bit erratic, right? And so I'm on the ES minis, as you can see here, and the day break for us is right around here right now. So it's around, well, it was around 4:45 Eastern time. So that's that thing right here, and that's that gap. But as you can see, I already have my areas drawn out because I am looking to see when these areas are going to be broken. And that's the important part of it all, right? This is understanding how the market moves, when it's going to break out. So I know when to enter, seeing where my MACDs, I have it open a lot more so I can really zone in on the movements on each bar. So I understand what is happening in front of me. Okay, you can see here, there's a gap. It wasn't huge though, right? I mean, it's been channeling all day. It kind of broke out right before, and then it went right back into that channeling market, right? So that's pretty much what that would look like. Oops, hang on a second here. Okay, so that's kind of what the live market is right now. It is in the second, it's now the new day break as far as the E-minis go. So it's slow. It's a whole new group of people. But the cool thing about the E-minis is you can trade it almost 24 hours a day, except for Saturdays. Saturdays is the only day it closes up for maintenance. So guys, you guys have everything that you need to take action, right? Everything is at our fingertips, right? But the reality is, how do you know you're doing it right? Back to the analogy of the pilot. Again, somebody who wants to just hop in and fly with the cockpit, they, have no clue how to really do it. That's why they have to learn. That's why they have, their teacher sitting with them to really help. Because a lot of times we don't really know if we're doing it right. I mean, we can watch all these YouTube channels, we could participate in all of these different summits, but at the end of the day, who's there to help us understand if it's really the right thing to do, right? Now imagine if we could actually do this together every single week, okay? So I have a really special offer to participants only to the people that are here live right now. So if you guys are making a cup of coffee or you're making dinner, or if you're getting something out of the fridge, stop and just come back for the next 2 minutes. I promise it will definitely be worth your while. So come back to me right now. Now, let's break this down. What I'm offering only for the participants here. I run a weekly live trade chat room every week, and it's me. It is not some moderator, it's not some administrator, people that don't really know what's going on. It's me in the live market with you guys, implementing, taking live trades, watching the live market together. Plus, I am offering, and this is really the core of it all. How do you know you're doing it right? Is accountability, the unlimited one-on-one mentorship and coaching. I am here for you guys. Like, that is the one thing that changed my whole life. I had a mentor, and that really changed my trading after 2 years of totally failing. And I want to be able to help you like that, because that's really the only way I found my way to get out of the losing streak. It wasn't a losing streak. It was just not knowing if I was doing it right. There was nobody there to help me. And I am offering unlimited one-on-one mentorship and coaching. Just that alone is valued at $5,000. Plus, you'll have unlimited curriculum access. There's an entire curriculum with videos, with charts, assignments that you guys will be doing with your charts. So you're really learning. So you're not just like going in blindly. You're actually learning and taking it one step at a time. You have unlimited access to that, and you get to work with me while we do it together. Now, I have students all over the world, and that's the coolest thing about trading, right? Is that you can do this from everywhere in the world. And here's what some of my students have said. Marina is right. Start today. I wish I found out about Marina sooner. I was struggling for years with no progress. Her great support is, there's nowhere else like it. I am a stay-at-home mom, and it feels like I'm really catching on to all of this. Marina, I just wanted to let you know I'm thoroughly enjoying the classes. You've been super helpful and super professional. So everything here, guys, is total value of everything that you are going to be getting. Live trade chat room. Again, you'll be live with a community, with me. So it's not just being there and listening to somebody who doesn't know much. Unlimited one-on-one mentorship and coaching. That alone is everything. Your accountability, you having somebody to ask, what is going on? Am I doing this right? And being able to work with me, and unlimited curriculum access. All of this trial for $24.99 to get started. Literally $24.99 you get for 2 weeks. $24.99 for all that you got right there to get started. $24.99. You could go right here, right now, and you can see it. DayTradingOffer.com. Go here, DayTradingOffer.com. All right, guys, again, everything that I just showed you, here, I'm going to put it right here, DayTradingOffer.com. Everything that I just spoke about is included in DayTradingOffer.com. DayTradingOffer.com. But here is the thing, guys. Here's the main thing. Because of my one-on-one mentorship, I am not able to take on a lot of students. I can only take on a certain amount of students because I want to be able to offer you my full attention. So you got to get it in quick. $24.99. Honestly, you can't go wrong. So the first 2 weeks are $24.99. And then if you decide to continue, it's only $49.99 after that. There's nobody out there that's offering their mentorship, their assistance the way I do. DayTradingOffer.com. $24.99 trial membership. This is where you go, DayTradingOffer.com. And when you go here, it will take you to this page right here. As you can see, $24.99 the first 2 weeks, and then it goes to $49.99. So DayTradingOffer.com. This is everything that I just said. You guys are going to get it. But remember, I only have 25 spots available because of my mentorship, so that I can really focus on you guys. Everything that I offered to start with. So here's the reality. We all know that a normal trade or a swing trade is around $250, $300, right? So $24.99 if you even start there, the return on investment will be a minimum of 100 times, if not more, from all the education you will get from the live chat room, from the curriculum, but nothing compares to my mentorship that I am offering. And this is only offered to you guys. Nobody ever sees this offer. It's only to the live summit people that you guys have taken that time to be here and to really, really want to work. So again, I only have a certain amount of spots, daytradingoffer.com. So here, if you guys put it in right here, daytradingoffer.com, this is where you will be taken, right here. Okay. Again, you need to put it in. I just put it in, daytradingoffer.com. So here's the other, this is the direct link to it right there. You can go and press on that, but you should, daytradingoffer.com, put it into your web browser like this. Here, daytradingoffer.com, and it will bring you to right here where you guys will see it all. So hopefully you will be able to get to it, right? So $24.99, and that's where you start. And then you can quit anytime, completely, no questions asked. There is no holding you back. If you want to stop, no problem. $24.99 to get started, and then after that, $14.99. You could go right here to this link or daytradingoffer.com. All right, guys. So let me know if you have any questions. I am completely here for you, and I'm really, really excited to work with you guys. So let me know if there's anything I could do. And again, $24.99, this is a no-brainer. Honestly, if you guys really want to learn, you can't get a better deal than that, and working with me as your personal mentor. And thank you again, David, for having me. I'm really, really grateful, and thank you. All right, guys, have a really great night, and thank you, everybody, for joining and taking the time to be here. Good night. Bye, everybody. Thank you.